Everyone, and welcome once again to Boxing Time TV. The fight I have for you today is a rematch of one of the more controversial fights in boxing. There's a lot of people that believe that Ray Leonard beat Marvin Hagler, and there's a lot of people that also believe Marvin Hagler beat Sugar Ray Leonard when they fought in 1987, I believe it was. Hagler at that time was a 3-1 favorite. The way that I put in the stats now, I just went off a box rec, made them exactly how they were, and the computer that I own for this game made Hagler a 4-3 favorite. As you can see, Marvin Hagler is 3 years older than Sugar Ray Leonard, and Sugar Ray Leonard has an inch in a height advantage. They weighed in about the same. I think Leonard was like a pound and a half heavier, or that may have been Hagler. Sugar Ray Leonard has Hagler has a reach advantage, and obviously, as you can tell, Hagler had many more fights. Let's just get right to this. Talk about the fights. Talk about this, as this is one of the more historical fights, and one of the fights that really resurrected the career of Sugar Ray Leonard. So we're starting off here in round number one. We have Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, and as you can see, Leonard's already sort of taking more of a defensive posture as Hagler kind of comes forward, probably wants to right some of the wrongs from their first fight. He wanted Sugar Ray Leonard to slug. There was a lot of people that just thought, the minute that Hagler starts applying pressure, Sugar Ray Leonard's dead. I was a very young, I believe I was 13 at the time when they fought, and I very much believed. I didn't know anything about the sport, but I thought, Hagler's going to win. Sugar Ray Leonard's eyes are bad. Blah 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 blah. And we were all proven wrong, and it was just a perfect situation, I believe. Sugar Ray Leonard, was I think some fighters are made to beat other fighters. I think that was the case with Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson. I think that has been the case throughout boxing. There's just certain fighters that, for whatever reason, when they fight a certain fighter, can just get up for that night in a way that they can't always get up for other fighters. And Sugar Ray Leonard also, many people believe, was fighting an older Marvin Hagler, a Marvin Hagler that was past his prime, and many people felt that he'd been exposed in the John Mugabe fight, and there was even a phone call that I heard took place where there was like a sports writer in like the camp of Marvin Hagler, and they were asking someone over the phone, hey, can Sugar Ray Leonard still fight? And the person said, well, why are you asking? And he said, well, I don't know. There's something about Marvin. He just doesn't look right. Who knows? Whatever the case, I give Hagler a lot of respect. He lost that fight, and he could have come back, and there were more fights for him to have. And I just think for him, he was just fed up with a lot of the crap about boxing. Just, he'd proven himself, and he was, still having to prove himself. And, back then, Floyd Mayweather retires and says he won't come back for a minimum of $100 million. Marvin Hagler said in 1987, he said he would come back, but he said he wanted a $20 million payday. And, so he never fought again. He moved to Italy, became an actor, and I just have a lot of respect for that. He did what he wanted to do. He did it on his own terms, and that was pretty much that. Sugar Ray Leonard, a great fighter, and just really seized this moment. This was a classic boxer-puncher affair, and as you can see, Sugar Ray Leonard's been actually able to negate a lot of what Hagler's trying to do, even though Hagler's applying pressure and keeping Leonard pretty much in that corner as we go into the final few seconds of this round. Overall, I think the edge, you kind of would give it to Marvin Hagler. I could be wrong, though. Let's see what the judges have to say. All right, so this was an even round. One judge for Leonard, one judge for Hagler, another judge having it even. My name is Evan Jacobs. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is @BoxingTimeWithEvan, and I do a post every day. Sometimes it's just a repost, but I'm posting every day, at least once or twice. And then I do my own posts. I find that people seem to like the page when it's broadened out, when it is when there's more stuff in it. And I think Hagler just landed really well on Sugar Ray Leonard. We'll have to see if he can continue to do that. Hagler going to the body, something he probably wishing he would have done in the first fight. Maybe he studied tape or really learned from that first fight, because he really does not want to be in that position with Sugar Ray Leonard, where Sugar Ray Leonard's fresh in those late rounds, and Sugar Ray Leonard's popping him right now, and he's landing very, very, very well, and almost pot shotting Marvin Hagler. And this is gonna be interesting to see. Can Marvin Hagler bust through all that and land the way that he needs to land, so that he can be victorious against Sugar Ray Leonard? I know that probably after the first fight, Hagler wobbles Leonard with a nice left hand, and Sugar Ray Leonard's trying to come back, but he was wobbled. And the thing about Hagler is, if he gets him hurt, is probably going to want to end this. Probably going to want to keep Leonard against the ropes. Probably going to want to go to the body. I'm surprised Hagler has not gone to the body more. But that was a beautiful left hand that he landed that certainly got Sugar Ray Leonard's attention. And Sugar Ray Leonard now is fighting in a very defensive posture, and Hagler trying to let his punches go, throwing punches. Just landing with a right hand, going to the body, and that's one thing he's going to want to do. He's going to want to take away Sugar Ray Leonard's legs. He's going to want to make it show that Sugar Ray Leonard can't move and can't do the things that he wants to do. Leonard now landing a right hand that, for the moment, temporarily stops the onslaught of Hagler. We're now in the final minute of the second round of this 12-round fight. Sugar Ray Leonard on the left side of the screen, Marvin Hagler on the right side of the screen. You are watching Boxing Time TV. We put on simulated fights of fights, from the past, fights that are currently scheduled. We have a bunch coming up that are scheduled to be made for the present. Coming up, we're going to do Shannon Briggs versus Ofrez Okendo. We're also going to be doing James Kirkland versus Miguel Cotto, as well as Daniel Jacobs versus Gennady Golovkin. This should be very, very interesting. And at some point, I would like to do Sugar Ray Leonard versus Aaron Pryor. Someone at one of the boxing matches that I work for Fight Club OC mentioned that that's a fight that they would like to see. So we will see. We will see how they want to do this. We'll see if they can do this. And right now, I think Hagler probably won this round. I think Leonard fought in spurts. Hagler landed the harder punches, and maybe I'm one of those guys that would have given the first fight to Marvin Hagler. The judges seem to be in agreement with me, or at least two of them. So Marvin Hagler is up by 1 point now over Sugar Ray Leonard as we go into the third round. Both of these fighters, just two of the top guys in the game, and fighting at an extremely competent level, and Sugar Ray Leonard landing there, wants to gain as much as he can of Hagler's respect. He wants Hagler to be thinking twice, and Leonard surprised everyone in that first fight. The question is, can he pull that off again? Can he pull off the same surprise? And there's a lot of people that think that he can. There's some that think that he can't, and that's what makes this for an intriguing rematch. Probably a rematch that should have happened, 30 years ago now. But Hagler there with his left hook. Hagler seems intent on not falling into the same traps. Although he's not mauling Sugar Ray Leonard the way that one might think that he would. He's not setting a fast pace that's going to tax Sugar Ray Leonard. And the thing is Leonard's 30, Hagler's 32. So it's not like he doesn't know this distance, and Leonard landing a nice left hand there, a little sneaky left hand on the inside, as these two guys are fighting in a very even, very, very, very measured type way, and that's what Sugar Ray wants. Sugar Ray wants to be able to pick his spots. He wants to be able to land on Marvin Hagler at when he wants to. He doesn't want to waste any punches. And Hagler certainly seems like he's come into this ready and more prepared. And Hagler going to the body there again. All things that could potentially pay off later in the fight should we get that far. We're in the final minute now of the third round. My name is Evan Jacobs. And you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is @BoxingTimeWithEvan. And on the left side of the screen, we have Sugar Ray Leonard. On the right side of the screen, we have Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I believe he legally changed his name to Marvelous some years, many, many, many years ago. And just one of those great fighters, sort of like Bernard Hopkins before Bernard Hopkins, even though I think Hopkins ultimately accomplished more than him. I think that Hagler certainly paved the way. Him and fighters like him, the Benny Briscoes, the Hurricane Carters, they paved the way for people like Bernard Hopkins to do what they did. And Hopkins has now paved the way for other fighters to try to be even greater than he was, although that will be a tough feat. The judges, one judge having it even, another judge having it even in that round, and the third judge giving it to Marvin Hagler. So now Hagler is up by 2 points over Sugar Ray Leonard, and this is not a desperate situation by any stretch of the imagination. But if you would have told me that Marvin Hagler was going to come out and outbox Sugar Ray Leonard in a rematch, I would have said, "Oh, you're crazy. Hagler's going to come out. He's going to be letting his hands go more. He's going to be mauling Sugar Ray Leonard." It just doesn't seem to be happening here. Hagler seems to be fighting a very smart fight, a very disciplined fight, sort of maybe realizing, hey, I let him into the fight in that first encounter, and that is not a mistake that I want to make again. And Sugar Ray now sort of moving Hagler back to the ropes, and I don't think that Sugar Ray really wants to be there. I mean, I maybe, but I don't know how well that. Oh, and he launches a right hand that sends Marvin Hagler into the ropes, and Hagler has a really good chin, so Sugar Ray Leonard has to be mindful of that. But it's sort of like he knows, hey, maybe he's given up something here, and he wants to take it back from Marvin Hagler, show Hagler that he's not afraid of him. He hurt Hagler with that left hand, and part of me thinks that was more the speed of the punches. He's actually having a lot of effort. He's actually having a lot of success over here against Marvin Hagler. But the thing is that I believe Hagler hits harder, and I don't think that Leonard ultimately wants to trade with him. Although Leonard is doing a lot of good work there, and he hurt Hagler, and right there, Hagler landing that right hand. And maybe Hagler, to a degree, was playing possum, trying to draw Sugar Ray Leonard out. You never know. There's a lot at work in this. Although Hagler continues to punch him to the body, to land a little bit to the body, and Sugar and landing an uppercut on Sugar Ray Leonard as we go into the final minute of this, the fourth round, and Hagler is just throwing shots that he's trying to get back into it. Sugar Ray Leonard had a really big fourth round. He's not supposed to be slamming Marvin Hagler into the ropes. He's not supposed to be hurting him. He's not supposed to be hurting him again after that. And Hagler trying to establish something here and maybe paying Leonard back for being so brave. But Leonard launches a right uppercut of his own, and I think Hagler, to a degree, is a bit surprised by the power that Sugar Ray Leonard has. Leonard started off as a welterweight, and he moved up to junior middleweight, and he is now fighting at middleweight. But he didn't retain a ton of the power. Sure, he would go on to knock. After the Hagler fight, he would go on to knock Donnie Lalonde out. But let's be honest, on Donnie Lalonde, not terrible, but certainly not on the caliber of a Marvin Hagler. And as you can see, Sugar Ray Leonard I thought he won this round. One judge giving it to Leonard, one judge making it even, and one judge giving it to Hagler. So the fight is Hagler's still up by 2 points as we near the halfway point, and we're in the fifth round now. Sugar Ray Leonard on the left side of the screen, Marvin Hagler on the right side of the screen. And Sugar Ray Leonard starting to, get a bit more, starting to, show a bit more technique, a bit more finesse, trying to set traps for Marvin Hagler, and Hagler just trying to place his punches and land them in a way that are going to secure him victory. And that seems to be, that was throughout Marvin Hagler's career, that was his bread and butter as it was. He was just steady, just a steady fighter, very much like Julio Cesar Chavez. Just threw a lot of punches, Didn't really do anything amazing, but just did everything well, and was just very big on pressure and going to the body. And Sugar Ray Leonard holding him off with a double left hook, and this is not something that we thought that we would be seeing. Leonard fighting more, and it's I mean, he's not terribly behind. He's going to the body now. It's almost like he's trying to pay Marvin Hagler back in any way that he can. But the judges seem to, be liking what Hagler's doing and keeping him in this fight. And no fighter's winning this contest going away. Neither fighter seems to be acquiescing or falling into fighting in the way that the other fighter wants him to fight. And Hagler is just landing a lot of hard punches right now. And that is the difference, is that his punches are shaking Sugar Ray Leonard up. Whether it's a jab, whether it's a right hand, and Sugar Ray Leonard's punches are flashier, and they get Hagler to kind of momentarily stop. And then when Hagler lands, just the body language and the posture of Sugar Ray, Hagler just landing. He's just going to the body. He's landing. He hurt Sugar Ray Leonard there, and this is just one of those occasions where it's almost like a BB gun versus a sawed-off shotgun, and we'll see though, because Sugar Ray Leonard hurt Marvin Hagler, so it stands to reason that Sugar Ray Leonard, if he wants, could possibly do something in this fight to turn it around should he be finding himself falling behind on the scorecards. Although Hagler's landing bruising punches, and he's landing more now. And these are the kind of things that really wear a fighter down over time. And Hagler's just feeling very comfortable now. He looks really good. And even when Sugar Ray Leonard lands, it seems to stop Hagler, but it's not enough. And as we head into the final 10 seconds, Hagler wobbles Sugar Ray Leonard. Wobbles him with a straight right hand. And this is clearly, in my estimation, been Marvin Hagler's round. But now they're saying that Hagler's tired and has a cut over his eye. So we will see. Can Leonard gut this out and make it a gash? Two of the judges giving it to Marvin Hagler. One of the judges making it even. So now Hagler's up by 4 points. The way that this game works, and once again, you are watching Boxing Time TV. My name is Evan Jacobs. You can follow me on Instagram at Boxing Time with Evan. And we're now in the 6th round. And what seems to be happening to a degree is that Sugar Ray Leonard seems to be trying to draw Hagler out so that he can land on that cut. What will happen in this game is if Hagler's cut turns into a gash, the fight could be stopped. And if it stops, they don't go to the scorecard. Sugar Ray Leonard will get the victory. And Hagler probably knows this. And so we might see him turn it up. I mean, he just got tagged right there. This is where Leonard's speed really comes into play, because he landed really hard on really quick on Marvin Hagler right there. Two left hands Hagler does not want to take too many punches to his abrasion. He certainly wants to not lose this fight, and he would like to stay. He wants to avenge that loss, and it looked like he was on his way to doing that. He certainly seems to be landing the harder punches, but Sugar Ray Leonard has hurt him and has cut him, and that's where Sugar Ray Leonard's speed and his velocity of punches, it can almost be the kind of thing that he could sort of hold on, and if he can hold on and land and not get hit the way that he was getting hit in the 5th round, it stands to reason that Sugar Ray Leonard could win this fight. He's not out of this fight by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not helping himself by being against the ropes if he's not going to be active. However, he has landed on Marvin in this round, and so but he's taking these long stretches off, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out, can Sugar Ray Leonard gut this out and either stop Hagler on cuts or get back in the game enough to take a decision. But Hagler's just landing more shots, and overall throughout each round is just throwing more punches. Sugar Ray Leonard now, having success. He's still there. We're heading into the final 30 seconds. And he's negated what Marvin Hagler was trying to do for the most part. And he landed a bit in this round. So we'll see from the judges if Marvin Hagler has a gash over his eye. I don't think that Leonard did enough damage. But this boxing game is fickle. Sometimes a guy will get hit repeatedly on a cut and nothing will happen. Sometimes he won't and they'll give him a gash. And Leonard right there closing strong with an uppercut, maybe trying to steal the round. And so let's see what the judges say. All right, so we're saying that Leonard's tired and Hagler has a cut over his eye. Hagler winning this round. Judges are now, Hagler's piling up points. He won at 10-9 on one and 10-8 on the other two. And so he's now ahead by 9 points, but Leonard comes out with a right hand. Oh, another right hand. He is determined to stay in this. And Leonard, being brave, gets caught and tagged. And this is something that he needs to watch out for, because Hagler smells blood, Hagler sees blood, and if I'm Marvin Hagler, he's got to figure out a way to be aggressive and to maul Leonard, get Leonard into the ropes, and just beat him up and take him out without getting hit on that cut. And Leonard kind of went out there and landed 2 right hands to sort of, I think, draw Hagler out more. I don't think he wanted Hagler to do that with his left hand. Hagler hit him with an uppercut and a right hand. And I think this is how people thought the first fight would be. But man, Leonard just taking that and getting up and landing well on his own and not wanting, getting up quickly. Maybe should have stayed down longer. Maybe should have taken more advantage of the fact that he had some time. But he got back up and he landed 2 hard punches on Marvin Hagler. And Hagler right now is just kind of counterpunching him and hurting him. And this is exactly the fight that Marvin Hagler wants. This rematch could not be going any better for him. This is the fight that Marvin Hagler wanted to fight in the first fight. And, I think without maybe the getting hurt and without Leonard having these moments, this is, I think, how people thought that it was going to be. And Hagler has Leonard on the ropes now. And as he's shown, he can draw. Oh, he hurts him again. Oh, he has Leonard wobbled. He has Leonard badly shaken up. He goes to Leonard's body. Hagler placing his punches very well as we're heading into the final minute of this, the 7th round. And Hagler really choosing to turn it up. And, Leonard had been off, prior to their first fight. And then Leonard wins it. And I think this also could be a stamina thing. Leonard's fighting in spurts, whereas Marvin Hagler's just fighting more of the round, and he's knocking him down, he's landing punches, and I mean, it would be very difficult for anyone, I think, outside of Sugar Ray Leonard's immediate family to give him this round. And Marvin Hagler is going to win it big, unless, of course, Sugar Ray Leonard can turn it around by landing like he just did there with a nice left hand. Oh, Sugar Ray Leonard landing, Marvin Hagler landing. These two guys are just, Leonard's trying to show that there's no quitting him. He's trying to show that he's trying to show that he, that there's still a way, a path to victory, as it were, for him. We'll see. Let's see what the judges say in this, going between the 7th and 8th rounds. Hagler now has a gash over his eye. They're saying that Leonard's exhausted. Well, let me tell you something. Hagler is going to be furious, and his fans are going to be furious, because Hagler won that round 10-7 and 10-8 on 2 of the judges' scorecards. They're saying that he has a gash. If this fight gets stopped, Leonard wins. And this is not something that Marvin Hagler wants. He wants to go out. He wants to put an exclamation point on this. And the fans are going to be furious, because a lot of people who are saying, "I told you so," right now, Hagler beats him in a rematch, are probably on the edge of their seats going, no, he can't. Leonard can't stop him. And I don't know what Leonard did to get that. I mean, I saw him land some punches, so he busted him up. But Leonard, honestly, is in a point now where if he can survive and land a little bit, there's an opportunity for him to steal this fight. Oh man, he's getting walloped against the ropes, and I'm sure Marvin Hagler, should he lose this fight, is going to regret ever having come back. As we go now, We are now in the 8th round. You are watching Boxing Time TV. My name is Evan Jacobs. You can find me on Instagram at Boxing Time with Evan. Leonard making Hagler miss. Hagler going to the body. And Hagler's got to be smart. He's got to be very, very smart because he doesn't want to keep getting hit on those cuts, even though he has a gash. I mean, he's got it, but he does need to throw caution to the wind because he is ahead. He's ahead by 16 points. And he has Leonard hurt. He has Leonard right where he wants him. This is the fight that all the Hagler fans wanted it to be. This is the fight that Marvin Hagler wanted it to be. And it's going to be a shame if this bout gets stopped because of the gash that Marvin Hagler has. And I'm sure the Hagler's probably hoping that he can hurt Sugar Ray Leonard in some way so that a stoppage could potentially happen for him. And he goes to Leonard's body. And so he's making it so that Sugar Ray can't move. But the problem is Leonard is still landing. He's still being pesky. He's still being cute. And we are in the 8th round, and Marvin Hagler is really pinpointing that left hand. And Sugar Ray Leonard really has not done much here. I would not be surprised if the judges made it another 10-8 round for Marvin Hagler. And this is where I think it played maybe a flaw in the game. They should take into account the idea of, hey, this guy was ahead. This game does not do that. I need to check it out, maybe see if there's a setting that I'm missing. All right, and I'm just adjusting myself in my chair here. That's what those noises are. And Hagler throwing out that stiff left hand, trying to set up his right hand. He is a southpaw. I believe a converted southpaw. He was a right-hander, and I think that they went southpaw with him. I believe that was an issue in the first fight. He came out, and I think he was fighting orthodox, and I think Gil Clancy could not believe it. So let's go to the judges now after this 8th round and see what they have to say. They're saying that Leonard's tired. They're saying Hagler's tired, but he has a gash over his eye. And as you can see, Hagler now storming ahead on the scorecards. 10-8 on 2 of the judges' scorecards, 10-7 on the other one. And he is ahead now by 23 points against Sugar Ray Leonard. And Sugar Ray Leonard, if he's playing the system the way that I think he's playing the system, people are not going to be happy with this victory. It's just not the way that I think Leonard even really wants to win. I think, but he wobbles Hagler. And he drops Hagler now. Oh, no. What a wild turn of events. Hagler has a gash, and he just gets dropped by Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard walks him into that punch, and Sugar Ray Leonard getting Hagler to fight at his pace and getting Hagler to walk into his punch. And this is why I love this boxing game. Anything can happen. Right now, we're on the edge of our seats. Hagler has a gash. Oh, and Hagler gets hurt again. Sugar Ray Leonard, who knew that he had so much power? I mean, my gosh, imagine that. Sugar Ray Leonard knocking out Marvin Hagler, much in the same way that he knocked out Tommy Hearns when he needed to. We are in the 9th round of this, a 12-round fight, and it is just amazing. It's amazing what we are seeing. Sugar Ray Leonard's making Hagler miss. He's landing, and is he potentially stealing the fight? Hagler comes back and just hits him with an uppercut and wobbles him, and Hagler doesn't want to lose. Hagler doesn't, he certainly doesn't want to open himself up for any more risk, but he has that gash and he went down, and this cannot look good to the judges. They have to be taking a close look at him. And I mean, who knew that Leonard Hagler 2 would be such an action-packed fight with Leonard going down and now Marvin Hagler going down. I think Hagler was only dropped once, and I'm going to look it up, here as we're doing this because I really want to provide you guys with the, best and most accurate information. And Leonard drops Hagler again with a body shot. Hagler really must be tired. And Hagler gets up. This round has been a nightmare for Marvin Hagler as we're heading into the championship rounds. If Leonard's going to stop him, now is the time to do it. Just unload and landing these volley of punches. And he knocked Hagler down with a body shot. which Leonard's been landing those shots to the body, but mainly he's been landing shots to the head. That's how he got that gash that has been such a troublesome thing for Marvin Hagler. And so we are heading now into we're in the final seconds of the 9th round, and about that could be stopped at any moment with that gash that Marvin Hagler has. He got dropped twice in this round. Sugar Ray Leonard roaring back, and what looked like, a thing he could never win on points, is now becoming something. Now they're saying that Leonard has a bruised rib. So these two fighters, I think this is truly a rematch that this is truly a rematch that the fans, that supersedes the original. And the original was a really good fight. Leonard taking that round by a 10-8 margin. He has a bruised rib. Hagler has a gash. Let's go into the 10th round. The championship round. And Leonard narrowing the gap. Hagler only has a 17-point lead against him now. And Leonard seems to be refreshed. Leonard seems to be, but he has to watch himself. He has to watch himself. This is not the kind of fight that he wants to be in against Marvin Hagler. And Leonard, I think, is thinking that if he shoe shines enough, if he shuffles, if he throws enough punches, he can get someone he can possibly get a stoppage in this fight. Hagler has to just be furious at himself, wondering what's happened. And Leonard now is having him on the ropes and just hitting him, and Hagler has to do something. They are going to stop this fight. They are. This is not the way. Leonard hurting Hagler, getting Hagler on the rope. This was looking every bit like when Ray Leonard fought Thomas Hearns. He has him against the ropes. He's probably hoping for a stoppage, and hitting him to the body, and it's amazing. Marvin Hagler just really, did he punch himself out? Did he throw too many punches? This is an incredible fight, because Sugar Ray Leonard really is fighting his way back into it, and could possibly maybe not need that gash to win, and could be taking this on points. And this stoppage now maybe doesn't, if it happens against Marvin Hagler because of that gash, maybe it's not so bad for Sugar Ray Leonard, because he's worked his way back into this fight, dropped Hagler twice, and he's punching him. He's hitting him with a volley of shots. Hagler's really not doing a lot in this round. Maybe he's playing possum. Maybe he's waiting for his moment. But as we go into the final minute of this round, Hagler does not want to be getting punched into the ropes like this. And at some point, he's going to have to land something. He's going to have to do something to stop Sugar Ray Leonard, because I don't think that he expected this. And maybe this was Leonard's plan all along, was to let Hagler, do this. But I doubt it. And we're heading into the final 30-second, and I'm looking here, and I'm seeing that, that it's not showing me who. Oh, so yeah, it's not saying who dropped Marvin Hagler. Oh yes, Juan Domingo Roldan, who became I'm reading this off of Wikipedia, who became the only man to be credited with a knockdown of Hagler. So up until Sugar Ray Leonard right now, it was Juan Domingo Roldan, and he scored a knockdown seconds into the fight. They're saying it was clearly a slip to anyone who saw it. And then, so right now, Sugar Ray Leonard won that round 10-8, 10-9, and 10-8. So he's really narrowing the gap. And they're saying that he has a bruised rib, and that Hagler is very tired, and he has a gash over his eye. Let's see what happens now, as Leonard's now down by 12 points. Can he come back and do enough to take victory? As he gave up a lot of the middle rounds in a big way to Marvin Hagler, and he got dropped twice. But Leonard has certainly roared back into this fight, and he's determined. He's determined to take it. And the question is, did Hagler rest up in that last round? Is he going to do enough to hold on to his lead? And it would be very odd if in this rematch, if Hagler got a controversial decision, although this has been a very entertaining rematch. This is the kind of fight that boxing fans love and boxing fans crave. And a lot of people wanted to see Hagler win this. And as we're watching this, I just want to once again say that you have Sugar Ray Leonard on the left side of the screen, Marvin Hagler on the right side of the screen. My name is Evan Jacobs. You can follow me on Instagram. Hagler's really hurt right now. Hagler's really, really hurt. And people are going to be taking a close look. And Sugar Ray Leonard may just be doing enough right here to get a stoppage. This is unbelievable what we are witnessing. Oh, and he drops Hagler again. Oh my gosh. And Hagler gets up. This is with that gash. This is just insane that the judges have let it go this long. The referee stops the fight due to injury. Hagler cannot see. You know what? I got to say, I think that's a justifiable stoppage. Hagler was not doing much. Sugar Ray Leonard was behind, but he roared back and he dropped Hagler 3 times. He scored a gash on him that it seemed like, could be a gift to Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard comes back and stops Marvin Hagler in a very entertaining rematch. Let's see the particulars. The winner, Sugar Ray Leonard by TKO. The fight lasted 10 rounds. Leonard was knocked down 1 time. And, I thought he was knocked down twice and has a bruised rib. Hagler was knocked down 3 times and has a gash over his eye. And I just think that him being knocked down was him just not believing that Leonard had that power. But as you can see, Hagler was up by 2 points on one judge's scorecard, 5 points on another judge's scorecard, and 5 points on the other judge's scorecard. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Boxing Time TV. My name is Evan Jacobs. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is @BoxingTimeWithEvan. If there's other fights that you guys want to see, please let me know in the comment section or let me know on Instagram or just contact me directly. I look forward to speaking with you. Look forward to making many more fights. Thank you once again for tuning in to Boxing Time TV. My name is Evan Jacobs. We'll see you next time.